Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Curtis Brandon. I am the federal lead for the Strategic Outreach and Communications team here for the VA Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, better known as OSDBU. Thank you for attending this webinar today. We have some wonderful information that we're going to bring to you. We continuously help you through the procurement system by helping you leverage this process. And we often like to interact with you and bring you great trainings. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mrs. Carolyn Henson, who will be our presenter today. But before we start, a few housekeeping notes. One, this training will be recorded. You will receive a copy of this training within 3 days, and it also will be uploaded to our YouTube channel as well. You will receive a copy of this presentation as well as resources that will be provided to you that was provided to me from the SBA as well. If you have any questions, please that I ask, you put those in the Q&A box. Myself and the team will filter the questions to Ms. Henson, and she will be able to either provide you with an answer today, or we will get back to you at a later time with your answers as well. We want to make sure that we are respecting your time and making sure that we do not go over time when we're making this wonderful presentation. So thank you. Once again, if you have any questions, please fill them in the Q&A box. Do not put them in the chat. The chat box is there for you to network and speak with each other as well. So without further ado, this is Carolyn Henson, the Business Development Specialist from the U.S. Small Business Administration. Thank you, Caroline.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Caroline Henson, and I am a Business Development Specialist in the SBA Baltimore District Office, and I also serve as the Veterans Business Development Officer. So we have about 60 district offices nationwide, so there is always one close to you, and you can find your Veterans Business Development Officer in your local office, no matter where you are. Each office has one. Thank you again for having me today. This is really exciting to share this program that we've been working on for quite a long time, and we're so excited that it's finally here to share with everyone. And I do want to start off by thanking everyone in the audience for joining us, but also thank you for your service to our country. I really appreciate it. I know we all do. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We have a lot of information to cover here. Please don't hesitate to put your questions in the Q&A. I actually encourage it, and I have allocated plenty of time to the end of the session so that we can go through all of the questions. So as many of you know, the VA's Center for Verification and Evaluation, or CVE, was previously verifying the veteran status of veteran-owned small businesses and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Now, we're going to use two acronyms quite frequently throughout this presentation, and that would be VOSB and SDVOSB. And again, that stands for veteran-owned small business and service-disabled veteran-owned small business. So as of January 1st, 2023, the SBA has actually completely and totally taken over this program, and the VA's CVE has officially been transferred to the SBA. So this new program is called the SBA Veteran Small Business Certification Program, or simply the VetCert program. And that is how I will refer to it through this presentation. It's just a shorter name, so it's a bit easier. The ultimate goal of this transfer was just to increase participation of VOSBs in the federal marketplace. And we're doing this through a few different avenues. We are simplifying the required documentation in the application process. We're also streamlining the certification review process, and we are shifting resources and funding from certification activities to training and growth activities. So again, as of the 1st of this year, the SBA has officially assumed responsibility of the VA's program, And the VetCert program began accepting new applications on January 9th. So we're nearly 2 months in now, and things are going very smoothly, I'm happy to say. And the hope of this transfer is that this new program will eliminate confusion and redundancy and provide veterans with a central support point for their certification and contracting needs. And transferring the VA's program to the SBA was a very natural fit, as the SBA already manages all of the other government-wide socioeconomic contracting programs for small businesses. You may be familiar with a few of these. We have 4, including the VetCert program. The other 3 would be the 8A Business Development Program, the Hub Zone program, and the Women-Owned Small Business program. A few highlights of the new SBA certification program. Changes have been made to the certification process to hopefully make it easier for business owners to receive assistance when preparing their certification application. By January 1st, 2024, all VOSBs and SDVOSBs will be expected to be certified by the SBA in order to receive set-aside and sole source awards from federal agencies. Self-certification is going away over time. However, self-certified SDVOSBs will still be able to rely on their certification until January 1st, 2024. The SBA VetCert program can provide certification for businesses with remaining eligibility in the 8A or WOSB programs more easily than they were previously. So this is a common request that we were getting from business owners when they were already certified in one SBA contracting program and then they were applying for another. And there was a lot of redundancy with the documentation that was required for submission, let's say between the 8A program and the VetCert program, or the WOSB program and the VetCert program. So at this time, business owners can use the documentation on file when applying for the VetCert program if the business is an active 8A or WOSB firm. And this was not possible previously. So this is a huge benefit of the transfer, and it's also just hopefully going to make it easier for everyone going forward. Few more key changes. So since the 1st of 2023, SDVOSBs need to be certified by the SBA in order to receive set-aside or sole source contracts from any federal agency. Just as it was before with the VA, the SDVOSB government-wide goal is at least 3%, meaning that the government aims to award at least 3% of all federal contracting dollars to SDVOSBs. VOSBs will still need to be certified for set-aside and sole source contracts from the VA under its Vets First authority. This is only for the VA's contracts, and the VA will not offer contracts to self-certified firms. This is really important, and I will go over this a few more times. It's also important to note that federal agencies other than the VA do not have a mandate or authority to award contracts to VOSBs, only to SDVOSBs. And again, we will go over that point again on a different slide in greater detail. The SBA has both the certification system for applications and the search tool for acquisition, and I will be showing you that search tool on one of the final slides of the presentation. But I do want to note that at this time, and for the near future at least, SAM.gov will not accurately reflect SDVOSB or VOSB certification status. At the moment, it will only be shown on the VetCert portal, which is veterans.certify.sba.gov. And again, I'll show you how you can see that and how contracting officers can also see that, also how other businesses would be able to search for you if desired. But at this time, SAM.gov will not accurately reflect the certification status, and thus the dynamic small business search will not show the correct certification status. So I just wanted to mention that. And then, like I mentioned previously, 8A and WOSB firms will have their certifications recognized if the qualifying business owner is the same across platforms. So that's, again, just a really helpful little tidbit there. A few other key changes, and I'll go over these first two bullet points in more detail in just a few slides, but basically, firms that were verified by the VA prior to the transfer date of January 1st, 2023 will automatically receive a one-year extension to their program term. So traditionally, this program has had a 3-year program term, and that will remain the case going forward. However, there is one exception to this rule, and that is if your business was verified by the VA prior to the first of the year. So if your business was verified prior to the first of this year, then you will not have to renew your certification for 4 years as opposed to the standard 3 years. And that will only be the case this one time. And again, we'll go through that more in just a minute. I also want to mention that firms will still have the opportunity to self-certify through 2023, but self-certification is going away on January 1st, 2024. So this means that self-certified firms will need to apply for the SBA VetCert program by the first of next year to retain the eligibility for sole source and set-aside contracts. And then lastly, I just want to mention that the surplus property program continues to operate in the same manner that it always has, and that program is unchanged by this program. And if you are interested in that program, we're not going over it today, but you can find more about it on the SBA website, sba.gov. So a few benefits of the SBA certification. First and foremost, the VetCert program allows firms the opportunity to compete in the federal marketplace and for set-aside and sole source contracts. The federal government aims to award at least 3% of all prime government contracting dollars to businesses certified in this program each year. And the SBA provides small businesses the opportunity to also access resources. This includes training, counseling, access to capital, webinars, counseling, I think I already said that one, consulting, mentorship, and many other resources as well. And these resources are mostly offered at no cost to business owners. So it's just nice that it's all housed under one agency now. Going to go over eligibility requirements, and eligibility requirements are pretty similar, if not identical. To apply for this certification, a firm must meet the following requirements. So must be considered a small business as defined by the size standard corresponding to any NAICS code listed in the business's SAM.gov profile. The business must be at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more veterans, and at least 51% of the business must be owned and controlled by one or more service-disabled veterans for certification as an OSDBU. So very similar requirements there. Okay, the one-year certification extension. As I mentioned a few slides ago, if your business is currently verified, either was verified by the VA at the time of the transfer, which was the first of the year, then you will not have to renew your certification for 4 years as opposed to the standard of 3 years. So the additional year will be added to the existing eligibility period. So I'm going to give a few examples here. Let's say that your business was verified by the VA in 2020. That means you will not need to recertify with the SBA until 2024, whereas typically you would need to recertify in 2023. Let's say you were verified by the VA in 2021. This means that you will not need to recertify with the SBA until 2025. And of course, if you are verified in 2022, then you do not need to recertify until 2026. So this extension will allow the SBA time to process applications from new entrants into the program and really grow the base of the certified firms. New applicants who are certified by the SBA in 2023 and beyond will receive the standard 3-year certification period. And again, this is the same certification period as the VA's program. Nothing has changed there. Also mentioned previously, self-certified SDVOSBs will be granted a 1-year grace period until January 1st, 2024. So self-certified firms can continue to rely on their self-certification to compete for non-VA set-aside contracts. And during this grace period, I cannot stress this enough, self-certified businesses are really pushed to go ahead and file an application for the SBA VetCert program. Like I mentioned on the previous slide, that 1-year certification extension is to allow new firms to apply for the program and to grow the number of firms in the program. So this means that if you are currently self-certified, this really is the best time to apply for this program since nobody will be looking for recertification for quite some time. So there's just less applications going through the system. You will be able to get certified just more quickly. So it's really recommended to not wait and to go ahead and get that certification done if you are self-certified. But that being said, you can rely on your self-certification until January 1st, 2024. So again, the transfer of VA verification to the SBA requires nothing from the business owner. And the SBA is accepting all businesses verified by the VA as SBA certified, and all documents and data will be transferred to and have been transferred to the SBA's new system. So now I'm going to go through several different scenarios that I imagine are common, and I know they'll be asked during the Q&A session, which is totally fine. We can go through them again, but maybe this can clear up some initial confusion or questions that people may have. So if your business was VA verified as of January 1st, 2023 transfer date, the SBA has granted a 1-year certification extension. And this means that you will have an extra year until recertification is required. If you apply for and receive recertification during the extension period, then your new 3-year certification begins from the date of expiration. And as your verification expiration date approaches, you can apply for recertification through the SBA's new certification program at veterans.certify.sba.gov. I have that site, by the way, on a slide at the end of the presentation that I'll leave up during the Q&A session, so you have that site right in front of you. Another scenario that I imagine is quite common. If your business has an expired verification, then the recommended next step is to self-certify in sam.gov as soon as you can so that you have federal contracting opportunities through all federal agencies aside from the VA until January 1st, 2024. You are also encouraged to submit a new application for the VetCert program as soon as possible. Like I mentioned on the previous slide, this is the best time to apply if you are self-certified because there's less applications going through the system since recertification is not going to really even start for any firms until the tail end of 2023. So if you applied for the VA verification before the cutoff date of October 24th, then you should already have heard your decision by now. I believe, I'm 99% sure, all decisions have been made by the VA. So you should not really have that question any longer. If you are unsure of your status, I will show you at the end of the presentation how you can check your status with the SBA's new system. So does the transfer affect the VA's Veterans First contracting authority? This program has no effect on the VA's Vets First authority. So the VA will continue to implement this policy utilizing the SBA's certification program and database for verification purposes. So once again, there is not a government-wide VOSB program, but the VA will retain its unique authority to award set-asides and sole source contracts to VOSBs, and that is only with the VA. So VA's database of verified firms have transferred to the SBA, and SBA now maintains this database. So VA contracting officers now use the VA's database to confirm a firm's eligibility when awarding VA SDVOSB or VOSB set-aside and sole source contracts. For all other agencies, I want to say it one more time, SDVOSBs will need to be certified by the SBA to be eligible for set-aside and sole source awards. So how does a business prepare for application? Step one is determining eligibility. So remember that the business must be at least 51% owned and controlled by a veteran or a service-disabled veteran. And the business must be considered a small business by the NAICS code that is in their SAM.gov profile. Step two is ensuring registration in SAM.gov. And this is a really important step. The business must be registered in SAM.gov to move forward with the application, and we will require your UEI in order to get started with the application. So if you are not registered in SAM.gov quite yet, and you are interested in this certification, please go ahead and register at SAM.gov today. That is going to be the most important step you can do at this point. Step three is going to be gathering the required documentation before actually beginning the application process. So I have sent Curtis a frequently asked questions document along with a fact sheet for the VetCert program and a prep for applying, I think it's called, document. All three of those documents, along with a copy of this slide deck, will be sent to everyone after this presentation in the next couple of days. So please go ahead and take a look at those documents before applying. They will answer a lot of your questions, I imagine. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the new landing page just a little bit. So when you are ready to begin the application process, you need to head to veterans.certify.sba.gov to get started. And this is where our new application portal is. So through the portal, you will have the opportunity to look at checklists and pre-application guides like the ones I was just talking about. You also have the opportunity here to check your firm's eligibility or any other firm's eligibility for that matter. And this is also how contracting officers will have the opportunity to check your firm's eligibility. You can also request information through this portal. You will need to create an account, and after you log in, you will then be able to proceed with your application. So again, that's veterans.certify.sba.gov. Something else really great about this new portal is that if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see the VetCert call center contact information. And this is a call center that is specifically devoted to the VetCert program. They do not work in any other program in the SBA, so it's it's just a very devoted team, and it is quite specific, which I think can be really helpful when we release a new program like this. I have their contact information on the final slide, so you'll be able to see that here in just a minute, but I just wanted to mention that that is at the bottom of that page as well. Let's see, next slide is going to be how you can actually search for certified veteran-owned small businesses. Now, this is right on that landing page. I'm going to go back just to show you how close it is to the top. So this is what the landing page looks like when you just type in veterans.certified.sba.gov. If you scroll down just a tiny bit, you'll see this search for certified veterans small business search bar. So that's what's zoomed in on in this image here. Once you use that drop-down menu, you will be able to search by business name, UEI, DUNS number, you can search by state, you can search by NICS code, you can search by, well, all of those are listed there. But again, this search tool is really important because several different reasons. Number one, let's say you're unsure of your firm's status at this time. This is the tool that you need to use in order to find out what the status is. If you think that the status is incorrect, or if you have questions, or if you don't understand why it says something, you can call our call center. Again, that information is listed on the same landing page. It's also listed at the end of this presentation. This is also the search bar that other agencies will use to verify veteran status instead of sam.gov and the dynamic small business search, since that is not possible at this time. We hope it will be possible going forward, but at this time, those systems do not connect quite yet. So this is going to be the major search tool. I'm going to show you one more time. This is the landing page. So it's just right here at the very top. You might have to scroll down a tiny bit based on the size of your screen, and you'll be able to search just right here. We get that question every now and again, so I just wanted to make that really clear. Now I'm going to go through the SBA certification process and what that flow looks like. So here you can see the 4 steps of the certification path. So step 1 is going to begin by uploading all of the required documents and submitting the application. Step 2 is that an intake analyst will validate the basic eligibility requirements. So that's going to be the percentage owned by a veteran. They're also going to check that you're a small business. They'll also check to see if you're service disabled, if that applies to your business. Step 3 is that an assessment of the application will take place, and this will take place with 2 analysts, a level 1 analyst and a level 2 analyst. They will be analyzing different portions of the application. So the 4th step is that the decision will be made to either approve or deny the application. And at this point, the reviewers will send a final determination letter to the applicant. So we want to make this very transparent that there are these 4 steps here. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, there is less documentation required than there was previously. Also, if you have an 8A or WSB certification that is active, you will definitely have less documentation to submit. So we hope that that is helpful. That is a request we've had for a long time now, so we're excited to roll that out. This is a new software, and we have a lot of tech support on hand. Again, you can call the call center if you have any issues or need technical support at any time. And then this last slide, well, second to last slide here, is going to be where you can find more information. So a few things on this slide. Number 1, if you want just some general VetCert information, that will be on our website. So sba.gov/VetCert, and you'll be able to see a lot of this information in writing. You can also email the VetCert team, and I really recommend doing this if you have questions about your certification, if maybe you got denied and you're confused as to why, you're not sure what you need to submit differently. whatever the question may be, go ahead and email the VetCert team, and they reply so quickly. I actually emailed them maybe a week ago about something, and they replied to me within 2 days at max. So this is a good contact mechanism, as is the toll-free call center. Their number is right here listed on the screen. Please take this number down. They are extremely helpful. And again, they only work with the VetCert program. And I think that specificity is really nice with something like this. We also have that frequently asked questions document that is on the VetCert platform. I also sent that document to Curtis, so that will be sent out to everyone after the session has ended. And then you can, of course, contact me at caroline.henson@sba.gov if you have any questions. If you are located in an area other than Maryland, you will have your own Veteran Business Development Officer at your local SBA district office. You can go to our website to find out who that is. I'll actually put a link to it in the chat here in just a moment so that you can see who your local Veterans Business Development Officer is. So before we, as I told you, we have plenty of time for Q&A. I know people are going to have a lot of questions. So before we dive into that, I am going to take a few moments and request that everyone fills out this survey. This survey is for SBA. This is not a survey for the VA. So keep that in mind. I'm going to leave this screen up for maybe 3 minutes and give everyone the time to take the survey. We would really appreciate it. And then I'll go back to that previous slide I was on, and I'll leave that up throughout the Q&A portion so you have access to that information. So I'm going to be quiet for just a few minutes and give you time to fill out this survey.
Thank you, Caroline. Caroline, do you have a link to the survey you could put in the chat for anyone that's on the phone?
That's a good question. Let me see if I do. One moment.
Okay.
And I do. I'm going to put that. Do you want me to put that in the chat?
Yes, that'd be helpful.
Excellent. I'm also going to put the Veterans Business Development Officer link in the chat. Again, whichever district office you are nearest to will have a VBDO. Let's say you're located in Tennessee, you'll be able to see who the VBDO is in the Tennessee district office. If you're located in Kansas, you'll be able to see who the VBDO is in the Kansas office. Every state has one. Many states have multiple offices just because of their size, like Florida or California, for instance. And we do have a separate office for DC. If you're located in DC, that would be the Washington Metro Area Washington Metropolitan Area District Office, WMATO for short, and that is on this page as well. Okay, so I think that's plenty of time, hopefully, for the survey. The only other thing I'm going to put in the chat is just a link to the VetCert portal in case anyone is on their phone or something like that and they weren't able to see it previously. Other than that, I'm going to go back to this page. I will leave this up throughout the remainder of the presentation or through the Q&A session, and we can go ahead and get started with Q&A.
Awesome. We do have some Q&A. Also, your PTAX, formerly known as, the Apex Accelerators, formerly known as your PTAX, can assist you as well. So make sure you follow up with them. They can be located in the state as well. I get a chance, I can put those in the chat where they can be located to assist you guys as well. We do have quite a few questions, Caroline. So I just want to let everybody know, I will filter through these questions. Your question may not be answered right now, but like I said at the beginning of this presentation, if they are not answered, We will get back to you via email. I have everyone email that has attended this webinar, so please be patient. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. The first question was, I have been trying to get my SDVOSB certification since early January when SBA took over from the VA. We talked about having an account with SBA. They was not able to create a new account and they was trying to log in but was unable to log in. They contacted the SBA, the help desk, and the only thing they said they could get back to them, it's a known issue, and when the fix will be completed is unknown. Do you have any info on when the issue may be fixed?
So I do not have any information on that question, unfortunately, or that issue. I'm sorry that's happening to you. I have one note and then one recommendation. I'll start with the recommendation. If you just reached out to the regular SBA help desk, that is a bit more general, and I recommend reaching out specifically to the VetCert team at vetcert@sba.gov, just because that is more specific to the program. So if you have not done that and you have only contacted SBA General Help Desk, please move forward with that step. The other thing I want to note is that if you received an EIDL loan, we use the same login system and same login information from the EIDL. So if you had, I'm not sure if this applies to whoever asked this question, but if you did have an EIDL or have an EIDL due to the pandemic, then that would be the same login information. Not sure if that helps, but I'm sure that does apply to someone here. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Thank you. Quick question, Caroline. On your landing page, it does say enter the DUNS number. I know the DUNS number changed over to the UEI number in April of 2022. Is that something they still enter as the DUNS number, or will they use the UEI number? That was a question asked.
So you are required to have a UEI before even applying for this program. That is essential. However, there are some businesses who have a DUNS number from before the UEI was in existence. So if you have a DUNS number, you can be searched by the DUNS number, but you are not required to have one since the UEI is what is so commonly used. It's just another way that someone can search for your business.
Thank you. Next question. SBA has said it will extend our verification certification by an additional year. How do we get new documentation? Example, a letter similar to the one that was provided by the VA that provides us with something in writing that we can provide to our clients.
So we've gotten this question a lot, and it was something that unfortunately was not anticipated prior to the program transfer. You'll need to email the VetCert team at vetcert@sba.gov. Additionally, there is a chance that you can message that through the portal and ask for that document. I do recommend going ahead and just sending an email for such documentation. We also, this is a similar question that we get quite often that I imagine someone has, but people are wondering if a contract officer will ask for this documentation. They probably won't need to ask for that kind of documentation. That would probably be more so for clients. The contracting officers are directed by the SBA to go to the VetCert landing page and to search for the firms there. So that has been communicated to the contracting officers. However, if you do want one of these letters, they are certainly available, and you can email the VetCert team in order to get one.
Thank you. Somebody else. How is the recertification process? Is it easy as it was in SAM.gov?
So I actually can't speak to this quite yet because we have not gone through the recertification process at this time. No businesses will be needing to recertify until the very tail end of 2023. So that just is not something I can really speak to at this time, unfortunately. I imagine it will be a fairly simple process, but I do think documentation will be required for recertification, but it will be obviously much, much simpler than the standard certification process. I'm not sure if it will be similar to the SAM.gov process. I'm sorry that I don't have more information on that.
So, all right, thank you. Um, it is called SBA certified for SDVOSB now instead of verified. Is that correct?
Correct. So that's a great question. Previously, a firm would need to be verified by the VA and then they would self-certify in SAM.gov. Now you can only, or now you have the opportunity to only use the language certified. I know that that was really confusing previously for myself even. I mean, many people were confused by that. You can use the language certified going forward. If you are certified with the SBA program, then you are a certified firm. That verification piece simply refers to ensuring that you are actually a veteran and that you have the documentation to support that. So that's not a term that we are using for the certification process any longer.
Got you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Is that why self-certification is going away?
Self-certification is going away, I believe, because we are just trying to get everything housed under the SBA in a streamlined fashion. So if you think of our other contracting programs, self-certification is not necessarily an option besides the WOSB program. And if a firm is certified as, or self-certified rather, as a WOSB, they do not have the opportunity to compete for set-aside contracts like an SDVOSB self-certified firm has the opportunity to now. That being said, it's more of just a streamlined approach, and we do want to encourage people to be certified in this program so that they can apply for the set-aside contracts. So to answer your question, it's complicated, but mainly it's to streamline everything, I believe.
Thank you. You
Mhm.
answered this question earlier a little bit, but it kind of got a little different twist on it. What will the certified SDVOS be called now? Which I think you already answered, but they put behind it. Will it still be called CVE? Even though verify, I guess that's under they mean it under the same program that was over here at first.
So no, the CVE is that process has gone away, and that is what is being transferred, and that is what this new program is. So you will now say that you are certified. And when we talk about certification, that's your business's certification. When we talk about verifying veteran status, that is talking about you personally as a veteran business owner. I hope that that kind of helps clear it up. Verification comes from you personally, whereas certification is really concerned with your business. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Will my VA CVE documents be available in the new SBA system?
Yes, they have all been transferred to the SBA's new system. And if you create an account in the SBA's new system at veterans.certify.sba.gov, you will be able to see these documents. Any questions that you may have about like the technicalities of the system or what is presented in your account can be directed to the VetCert team via the call center or the email address.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I received my approval from VA CVE in June 15, 2022. The letter states that I'm qualified for 3 years. Do I still need to be certified by the SBA by January 1st of 2023?
So you already are. Great news. That has completely rolled over. And if you were verified by the VA as of summer of 2022, that means you do not have to recertify with the SBA until 2026, as opposed to the typical 2025.
Hmm, information to know. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, same. I'm just filtering through the questions. Some of the questions are the same that you already answered.
No problem at all.
Mm-mm. If I had started the process through the VA website but did not finish Well, was that information transferred or do I need to submit all again?
That information was not transferred and you will need to start over. Go ahead and self-certify if you are not already. Go ahead and self-certify in sam.gov. So you have the opportunity for the time being to compete for non-VA set-aside contracts. But in the meantime, go ahead and apply through the SBA so that you will have that certification come January 1, 2024.
Thank you. Uh, I was a VOSB under CVE. My certification expired October the 18th, 2021. How do I go about getting certified under the SBA? And do I have to go through the extremely painful process of applying, or will my file be able to just be renewed?
If you did not do your recertification when your certification expired in 2021, then unfortunately you will have to go through the extremely painful process of applying again. So when your recertification time comes up, you want to go ahead and recertify if possible, because otherwise you do have to start again. That is the beauty of recertifying when the time comes. And if you do not recertify, unfortunately, and a certain amount of time lags, then you will have to just start over. So go ahead again, like I said for the previous question, go ahead and self-certify at sam.gov so that you can still compete for non-VA set-aside contracts throughout the year of 2023. In the meantime, go ahead and start the application process and have that submitted well before January 1st, 2024, because that self-certification is going away.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Does VetCert portal show previously certified, verified SDVOSBs that are still valid and happen through CVE?
Sorry, can you repeat that one?
Does VetCert portal show previously certified, verified SDVOSBs that are still valid and happen through CVE? That's
Yes,
a
so
question.
as long as your certification was and your verification was valid at the time of the transfer, which again would have been January 1st, 2023, all of your information has been transferred to the SBA VetCert portal, and you are searchable in that portal at this time. Let's say you did not like the last question, you did not recertify in the amount of time before the transfer occurred, your information will not be in the portal. All of the active certifications were transferred, but any inactive certifications were not transferred.
If a self-certified company wins an award in 2023, will they be eligible for option years if they don't certify through SBA?
That's a great question. And I believe the answer to this question is going to be no. You will need to do that recertification during the base year before the option year begins in order to still be able to be eligible for the option years when it comes time, let's say in 2024.
Gotcha. Thank you. Is there a requirement to recertify to renew veteran certification each year, like there is with AA, or will certification renew automatically as you renew SAM certification each year?
So this program has a 3-year certification period, which is really great. A-Day is 1 year. I believe WOSB is annually, maybe every 2 years. Same with HubZone, but VetCert and VetCert only has a 3-year certification period. So let's say you get certified for the very first time in 2023, you will need to recertify in 2026, and so on.
Are there any coaching programs or mentors available to someone retiring from the military trying to get certifications and start receiving contracts?
That's a great question. I recommend contacting your local PTAC. That is the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Every state has at least one, and a lot of them have multiple offices within that state. So I'm going to give Maryland as an example, just because that is the state that my district office is in. In Maryland, we have a Maryland Procurement Technical Assistance Center, and they have, I believe, 3 locations, possibly 4. They have quite a few counselors that can assist a business for free, and they assist business owners with identifying, competing for, and winning government contracts. That's at the state and federal level, and the local level for that matter. So it's a really good contact to have on hand. It's amazing that these counselors are free to work with. They can help with the application process. They can help you with your SAM.gov profile to make sure that everything is complete and thorough. They can also help you with market research. So again, just a really good contact to have on hand. Let me see if I can get their address pulled up and I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you, Caroline. And they actually did just change their name to Apex Accelerators.
Thank you for letting me know. I actually didn't know that.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Yeah, it was just a recent change. Just in case, it probably still come up as under P-Tax, but just in case you see Apex Accelerators, just know that was a name change.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Will we be notified when time to recert, when our 3-year or 4 period is coming to an end?
Yes, you will be notified before that occurs. I believe the system sends out an automated email or notification so that you will know before that time happens. You can also, of course, log into the portal and just see, it will tell you point blank, your recertification is due by January 30th, 2025 or something like that. And it will tell you that date. But you will, I believe, get a notification from the system.
Thank you. Will there be a logo change for VOSBs or SDVOSBs?
That is a great question. I believe we do have a new logo that you can put at your email signature, and you can email the VetCert team about that. That is vetcert@sba.gov. And on your website, things like that, marketing materials.
We may have already answered this question, so I apologize if I'm repeating it. Will the 1-year extension be automatically reflected and available to print, download with the new extension date?
Yes, that is automatically added on. There is no paperwork you need to file, no documentation you need to submit, so long as you were an active VOSB or SDVOSB at the time of the transfer and your verification was in good standing, then you are good to go with the SBA's new system, and you do have that extension year automatically.
How do we verify the extra 1 year for companies that were certified prior to January 2023?
You will be able to do that if you go to veterans.certify.sba.gov and you will search in that tool. It will tell you whether or not the firm is active or not. And again, that information is directly pulled from the VA system that they had previously, and it is all current and up to date. So that it's just, again, automatic.
Okay. How do we self-certify now since SBA has taken over?
You'll still self-certify through SAM.gov. So a self-certified firm will not necessarily be reflected in the veterans.certify.sba.gov portal. We want you to go ahead and get the certification, of course, but throughout 2023, you will self-certify in SAM.gov.
Thank you. Somebody asked, could the SBA see my previous paperwork that I submitted for my application so that they can move forward?
So if you submitted that paperwork to the VA and you never got a final acceptance on your certification, then no, you will have to start over and you will have to, unfortunately, just resubmit that documentation to the new portal.
Thank you. How long does the approval process take from the SBA?
That's a great question. It depends, of course. Let's say your situation goes flawlessly. You are not requested any additional documentation. You submit everything correctly the first time. We have had people get certification in less than a week at this time, just because it is still really fresh and we don't have, too many people in the system at this time. Also, we are not accepting or we are not requiring any recertifications until the very, very, very end of 2023. So that being said, it is only new certifications that are of concern at this time, and those are the only applications in the system. So that really helps to make the time frame a bit smaller and get new businesses certified within the new program. So anywhere from a week to, I would say on average, maybe a month. Now, these applications, at max, they can take 180 days, but I have obviously not seen that yet because we're not 180 days into the year. But I have gotten really, really positive feedback from businesses in my district about the timing on when they got accepted. Usually like a week to 2 or 3 weeks. If there were issues, that would even be the longest at this time. So should be pretty quick.
Got it. So we got about 4 minutes, couple of more questions, then we'll wrap this up. Like I said, we definitely respect your time, but we definitely will get back to you with your if we haven't answered your question and send you a reply via email. Next question. When can we see if our certification got rolled over into the new program?
You can see that now. So you will need to go to veterans.certify.sba.gov and you'll search for your own business. You can search, of course, by your name, your UEI. I imagine name is the easiest for everyone, but there's a lot of different search tools there. You'll be able to see what your status is. When you're at the website, I recommend going ahead and creating an account just so you have one when recertification comes up, you'll be ready to go.
Thank you. Is there a database that lists certified VSOBs and their certification expiration date?
That would be on the SBA's website, that landing page. I'll show it one more time here. This landing page right here at the bottom, you'll search there and that is the database at this time. But that is for certified businesses through the SBA. For self-certification, that is done through sam.gov. But please go ahead and submit your formal application with the SBA so that you do not get locked out, for a better word, when self-certification goes away in 2024. You want to go ahead and get that done now while the time frame is quite small for program acceptance.
Thank you. Does the database indicate if the VOSB is self-certified or not?
So I don't, that's a great question. I do not think at this time it does accurately state whether it is self-certified because that self-certification is done in sam.gov. So if it is a self-certification, it will still be reflected in sam.gov, but if it is a formal certification with the SBA, that will be, of course, reflected in veterans.certify.sba.gov.
Thank you. Is there a website link to show the new logo?
Yes, and I don't know it off the top of my head. Please, for the new logo, please email VetCert@sba.gov and they'll get you set up with it. They'll send you all of the materials as well. So you can put it on your email, you can put it on your website, marketing materials, your capability statement, that kind of thing.
Thank you. A lot of people are asking, can they get a letter that says that their year has been extended? Is that something that you guys are offering?
So you should not need a letter if it is for federal contracting needs or even state contracting needs, because those contracting officers and agencies have been instructed to use the new SBA VetCert portal. So you should not, in theory, need that kind of letter. If you really, really need it and somebody is requesting it, you can do so through vetcert@sba.gov and just request that document. But I will say, if you're just doing this retroactively to hopefully help that from being the case with a contracting officer, that really should not be necessary, because again, those contracting officers, state and federal, have been instructed to use the VetCert portal. And I say state because a lot of the state veterans certifications use this portal to verify veteran status. That's the only reason I'm bringing this up. Of course, this is a federal program, not a state program, but several state agencies use this website as well.
Thank you, Caroline. All right, now it's 3 o'clock, and I stated that we would end at 3 o'clock. I appreciate everybody's time. I appreciate you for attending. Thank you, Caroline, again for this wonderful information. This has been great. I know the participants enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it as well, getting this great information. As we continuously end this webinar, please feel free to complete the survey. We would love to get 100% participation. We would like to continue to know what your thoughts are, what we're doing great and what we're not doing great, so we continuously could improve and help you with leveraging this procurement process. So thank you for attending, and I hope everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Caroline.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you having me today. And again, if anyone has anything going forward, just feel free to send me an email, but it has been my pleasure. Thank you so much, Curtis.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You as well.